So, a really proud moment this week. One of my managers of my stores has just turned 30 this year, and he's actually bought his first house this week. And really proud of this guy. He's worked his absolute ring off for the last 5 years, has put in the work, has taken on board a lot of things that I've advised on and I've said and sort of laid out for him. And it's interesting because as you get older, you've got a lot of life experience. I've owned 18 businesses now, buying and selling. Some win, some don't. On my 12th house, haven't kept them all, so I've bought and sold at times during my life. So when you have a bit of experience in certain fields, you know some things. And not that you expect everyone to listen to you, but when someone is interested, which isn't very often these days, people sort of go, wow, that's a lot of work. I don't want to do that. But when people are interested, I'm happy to share as much information as I can because the more I can help and fast track their goals and their achievements, the better their life is. Obviously, it doesn't change my life at all, except for the fact that I get to feel proud and I really and by seeing someone accomplish things they've always wanted to accomplish, just by sort of opening their mind up to things of possibilities, it really goes to show that you can help people who want to be helped, and it makes me feel proud. That's for sure, and I feel a lot of pride from that because you are able to pass that knowledge on. So he's taken on board. He's bought his first house. He has 3 kids. Well, 2 kids and one due this week or next week. So he's got a lot going on. And it's been interesting to see that a lot of people, 20 to 30-year-olds, even 40-year-olds, haven't really been around, involved, or educated as such in buying property, buying businesses, investing in stocks, real estate, how superannuation works. And it's really odd that a lot of people don't know those things. For me, my parents passed away when I was very young. My dad passed before I was born. My mum was gone in my 20s, and I've been flying solo since then. There is no fallback option for me. It's just me, and I don't have I don't have somewhere to go if everything goes wrong. I just have myself to go to. So I guess you'd say I have to make it happen. And so in my early days, my parents were also not well educated in finance or business building or saving money or superannuation. They just didn't have that experience. So they just couldn't pass that knowledge on because they didn't know. And that's not anyone's fault. It's just you don't know what you don't know, and you can't help that. But ever since from a young age, I was always interested in it. I remember buying Tony Robbins tapes. Remember the tapes that used to come out when Tony Robbins first came out? And I was always reading, The Millionaire Next Door, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all these books. I was just interested in it. And the more I was interested, the more I started putting those things into practice because I then became educated, and then once I did them, I had experience, and experience is the greatest teacher of all time. So it's interesting that a lot of people don't have an environment where they are fed that information, and whether their parents have never been educated on that to be confident enough to pass that knowledge on to their kids or not, I'm not sure. But I thought it was interesting that a lot of people just don't talk about it. I mean, money was always taboo when I was younger. You could never talk about how much you made, or if you made money on an investment or in a business, you could never talk about that because then you were thought of as bragging or as such. But I think it's great. It's open. Be open. Talk about your success if you're doing well. I think you should be very proud of that. So I'm very proud of this guy. He's put the work in. He's bought himself a house, and he's on his way to living a life that he never dreamed possible. He was only saying to me a couple of weeks back, saying that he never even thought he could get to a position like this. And I haven't done anything for him. All I've done is showed him the mindset of you can do these things. Anyone can do these things. Anyone can do anything in life if you just put the work in and focus 100% on that goal. You can do it. Obviously, there's limitations, right? I also want to be the best NBA player of all time. It ain't going to happen no matter how much work I put in. But I can be the best at things that I'm interested in and are in my circle of reach. So for most people, if you want to buy a business, if you surround yourself with business people, you will be educated enough to put yourself in a position to be able to buy a business. Or in this situation, put himself in a position to buy a house. That's by saving a deposit, having the right conversations with the real estate agents and solicitors and money lenders, saying the right things, having the right conversations. These are all important skills. And if you don't have someone in your corner, it's a very daunting experience, and most people shy away and do nothing at all. But with the right people guiding you and you making your own decisions based on what you are being told, then you can absolutely achieve any of these things financially. When I was growing up, I'd always look at business owners and think they were just, this God on top of the hill, and I cannot believe these people own businesses. This is phenomenal, and just thought that I could never achieve that. And I thought that was just for an elite bunch of people who could be business owners. But I worked for a lot of business owners, learnt the craft, put the work in, did my apprenticeship as such, and ate shit for a long time on crappy pay and long hours for a very long time. But I was an absolute sponge. I learned everything, asked every question, learned everything I could. So when I wanted to buy my own business, I was in a position where I felt like I'd already done it 10 times. So yeah, I just want to put this out there today. One, I'm super proud that I've been able to help someone get in a position to be able to do that. That makes me feel great. It really does. And like I tell anyone, when you get to that target, it's not the finish line, it's now the next starting line. You're now a homeowner who wants to do something more, whether that's buy multiple homes or whether that's build up some equity and use that to buy a business. But you cannot stop there. You have to use that as the next starting line. And that's very important. Otherwise you get very complacent and life can pass you by very quickly. So there you go. Surround yourself with the right people, because if you walk around with someone who has a limp, eventually you'll also have a limp. Good and bad.